Have you ever felt trapped by the word yes? I want to share something important with you, something I learned after years of silent struggles and many quiet mistakes. Sometimes our yes doesn't come from a genuine place. It comes from fear. Fear of disappointing others, fear of appearing selfish, fear of losing opportunities or relationships. But here's the thing. Every time you say yes to someone else when you should have said no to honor yourself, you lose a bit of your true self. At first, it's barely noticeable. You skip a break to help someone, accept an invitation you didn't want, swallow discomfort just to avoid conflict. And then suddenly, you don't even know what you really want anymore. You're living on autopilot, suffocated by expectations that aren't yours. Learning to say no is like taking off a heavy backpack after carrying it for hours. At first, the emptiness feels strange, but soon comes the relief. And you realize you can walk lighter. Saying no doesn't mean rejecting others, it means embracing yourself, setting boundaries not out of coldness, but out of love, self-love. I myself took a long time to understand this. I spent years trying to please everyone and lost myself in the process. Until one day, I looked in the mirror and saw a stranger, a tired, bitter, empty man. That was the day I decided to change. I started small, a no here, another one there. At first it came with guilt, shaking, even tears, but over time, peace came. A peace that only comes when you truly respect yourself. I remember one Saturday that a friend asked for help. It wasn't an emergency or anything health-related, just one of those everyday tasks that could wait. I had promised my daughter we'd spend the day together. Before, I would have said yes without thinking. But that day, I took a breath and said no. Kindly, carefully, but still, no. I saw the frustration in his eyes, but when I saw my daughter's smile, I understood the value of that choice. And you know what? She still remembers that day. She tells me it was one of her happiest childhood memories, not just because of our day together, but because she felt chosen. She felt she mattered, and that's what lasts. Some people won't understand. They'll call you selfish or cold, but don't be fooled. The ones who get upset with your boundaries were likely benefiting from your lack of them. Stand by your no with confidence. It's your shield. It's your line in the sand. You see, saying no is also an act of courage. The courage to trust that standing your ground won't leave you alone. That real connections will hold strong. Those who truly love you will learn to listen and maybe love you even more. It's also an invitation to honesty. When you stop pleasing out of obligation, what remains is real. The ones who love you for who you are stay, not for who they expect you to be. We grow up thinking being good means saying yes, but being good also means having the courage to say no when it protects your peace. Sometimes what others call help is actually an invasion, and you don't have to accept that just to feel accepted. Think about how many times you said yes and then regretted it. The weight, the exhaustion, the resentment. It builds up like invisible baggage, hard to explain but impossible to ignore. And eventually, you just can't carry it anymore. Saying no is dropping the weight. It's choosing what comes into your life and what you leave out. And that is wisdom. A kind of wisdom you only learn with time, with stumbles, with silence. You know what's curious? The more you say no with love, the more you inspire others to do the same. You become a mirror. You show it's possible to be kind without being submissive, to be present without losing yourself. I saw it happen with someone close to me. Always the nice guy, always available. For years, he bottled up his discomforts, kept the image of someone who's always okay. But one day, his mind and body had enough. He couldn't fake it anymore. Nobody understood, but I did. That didn't come out of nowhere. It was the result of years of saying yes on the outside and no on the inside that wears you down, that hurts. Today, he's quieter, more selective, but far more at peace. And that peace is priceless. It didn't just happen to him. I saw it up close with a co-worker of mine, always cheerful, always saying yes to everything. She took on more tasks than she could handle, brought work home, worked late, and slowly burned out. She started feeling overwhelmed, anxious, and eventually had to take a 6-month leave. When she came back, just hearing her team leader's voice triggered her. Not long after, she quit. Today, she's living life, doing what truly makes her feel good, with peace, with lightness, with presence. Another time at the grocery store, a woman asked me to hold her place in line while her son grabbed more items. I almost said yes, but remembered I was in a rush and my knees were aching. I replied gently, respectfully, but said I couldn't. I didn't delay her, but if I had accepted, I would have paid the price. I got home earlier, had time to rest, and didn't bring home that hidden frustration. It was just one no, and it saved my day. And then there was a neighbor who kept asking to borrow tools and never returned them. When I needed them, they weren't there. One day I said, "Sorry, I can't lend them out anymore." I explained they're tools I use often, anytime. He pulled away. At first, I felt a little weird, but then I realized I gained something bigger, peace of mind. You don't always need to cut ties. Sometimes just setting clear limits is enough. Those who respect you will understand. And look, saying no isn't some natural talent. It's like a muscle. It needs practice. Every well-placed no strengthens your voice, your identity. You become more whole, more real. Over time, you realize that saying no doesn't push others away. It brings you closer to yourself. It's about stopping the habit of living for others and finally living your own life. Saying no is a gift you give yourself. It means your energy has value. Your time is sacred. Your presence is a choice, not an obligation. And little by little you see that saying no doesn't isolate you. It brings you closer to what truly matters. You find time for yourself, for those you truly love, and for what truly nourishes you. And if one day you're afraid to say no, remember this: every good no is a yes to your peace, your time, and everything that truly matters. Life is too short to live pleasing everyone, and long enough to find a path that truly feels right for you. But don't forget, learning to say no doesn't mean becoming inflexible. There are moments when someone truly needs you, and when that yes comes from empathy, not guilt or pressure, it's beautiful too. The secret is in recognizing the intention, the difference between giving and giving yourself away. Now tell me, do you have the courage to choose yourself? Thank you for staying with me until the end. If something in this message spoke to you, leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and drop a comment below saying, "I'm learning to choose myself." Sometimes that simple phrase is the beginning of something big.